Shabbat shalom, 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 Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom.
What a wonderful way to come into Shabbat, and I love it because I can pretty much clap to that one. That one is good. So let's take a nice deep breath of Shabbat as we think back over the course of the week. Believe it or not, this was Simchat Torah week and the end of Sukkot. It's hard to even remember back then. This is the week our sukkah falls apart, as it always does. And this is the week where the weather kind of bounces around. We had some glorious days and some more challenging days as we head into the Buffalo fall here. So we're going to take a moment just to reflect, think about where you were this week, think about all the things you want to hold on to from the week and all the things you would rather let go of. And we'll breathe in all those things that we want to hold on to and hold dear, and we'll breathe out all the things we can just let go as we move into Shabbat. How blessed we are to be together. I'd like to invite over Bruce Corus, who is going to officially welcome you into our sanctuary space.
Shabbat Shalom. And welcome to fall. Welcome to we're back in the sanctuary now. This is our plan now as we move through the next couple months, 7 o'clock services in the building. The cantor keeps telling me when it's really cold, we should be in the parking lot, but we'll see. And in all seriousness, you never know. We might have a spectacular fall day and decide to be outside. You never know. But for now, this is where we're going to be. And we are moving forward as we plan with the pandemic. We're making sure that we have the right social distance and masked in the building and all of that. So we want to always put your safety first. The cantor and the rabbi have put together a very nice service for this evening. Enjoy that. I'll be back later with the announcements. Lots of stuff coming up, including a very special thing tomorrow morning to talk about. Year 14 of this special thing. Shabbat Shalom.
And year 13 of even more special thing more. We are going to read on page 124 responsively. We also welcome all those who are joining us virtually. We are using the Mishkan Tefillah prayer book. At the bottom of 124. May the door of this synagogue be wide enough to receive all who hunger for love, all who are lonely for friendship. May it welcome all who have cares to unburden, thanks to express, hopes to nurture. May the door of this synagogue be narrow enough to shut out pettiness and pride, envy and enmity. May its threshold be no stumbling block to young or straying feet. May it be too high to admit complacency, selfishness, and harshness. May the synagogue be, for all who enter, the doorway to a richer and more meaningful life. Feels good to actually say those words in the synagogue, and also to be able to hear your voices. So many times during the pandemic, we were not able to do that. We are now going to turn to candle lighting, which is on page 120. And I would like to invite Jonah and maybe Karen and Ron and Jacob to join. Over here, we do have some matches on the table here, if one of you want to do the lighting. And be very careful. The rule of every synagogue service is no injuries. Whenever you're ready. And one of the nice things when we light candles here in the synagogue, it is what it feels like when we light it in our home and when we have a family that has a bar mitzvah. How wonderful. It's as if you've invited us into your own space. So Jonah, whenever you're ready with your family.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'chadlikler shel Shabbat.
Amen. May the candles of Shabbat light our way. And before you go, if you want to lift up, do we have a Kiddush cup there? There's nothing in it. If you want to recite the B'rei Pri Agafen for us.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Baruch Pri Agafen.
Amen. Blessed is the fruit of the vine, and blessed is this day of Shabbat. Thank you, Jonah, and thank you to your whole family. Jonah will be coming later to lead us in the Hamotzi at the end of the service as well. We're going to turn and officially welcome Shabbat into the room. I feel its presence. I feel like the angels of Shabbat giving us a little bit of help and nurturing and, back rubs like they usually do. On page 138, we have L'cha Dodi, and we've been singing the first and the last verse. On the final verse, we're going to face our doorway out there where Mark and Sue have been welcoming all the guests into the synagogue. We'll bow to Shabbat as it enters, and then we welcome each other. Instead of going around as we used to do, we just wave our hand like this.
Lecha lecha dodi, likrat lekakala, pene pene Shabbat likabela. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat lekakala, pene pene Shabbat likabela. La 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 la. Lecha dodi, likrat lekakala, pene pene Shabbat likabela. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat lekakala, pene pene Shabbat likabela. Shamo v'zachor b'diborecha, ishmi'anu el milchad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, l'shem u'tiferet v'litchila la 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 la. Lecha dodi, likrat lekakala, pene pene Shabbat likabela. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat lekakala, pene pene Shabbat likabela. Boi v'shalom, ateret b'ala, gam b'simcha v'tzola, doch emunei am segula. Boi chala, boi chala. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat lekakala,
Use our wave.
pene pene Shabbat likabela. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat lekakala, pene pene Shabbat likabela. La 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 la. Lecha dodi, likrat lekakala, pene pene Shabbat likabela. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat lekakala, pene pene Shabbat likabela.
We remain standing for the call to prayer. Pretty much caught all of you before you sat down. Our call to prayer is on page 146 with the Baruch Hu.
La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. Sing with me. La
page 149 at the bottom. Let's read together in the English. 149. This is an hour of change. Within it we stand uncertain of the border of light. Shall we draw back or cross over? Where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? This is the hour of change, and within it we stand quietly on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? Baruch atah Adonai Mariv Aravim. Page 150, Ahavat Olam, as we celebrate God's love for us and our love for God.
Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amecha ahavta, Amcha ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadta, Otanu limadta. Al ken Adonai Eloheinu v'shofrinu, v'kmeinu nasiach b'chukecha, v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha, u'mitzvotecha l'olam va'ed, ki chem chayenu, v'yorech yameinu, uvahem negeyom v'layla, negeyom v'layla, ve'ahavatcha tasir, mimenu le'olamim, Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael, ohev amo Yisrael.
Blessed are you, God, who loves your people Israel. We remain standing for the Shema 152, 153.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shen Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Shen Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
You may be seated. We continue with the V'ahavta, page 154.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Echad, b'chol levavecha, v'b'chol nafshecha, v'b'chol me'otecha, ve'hayu הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך Ani Adonai Elohechem.
Let's read on 155, a interpretive translation. Love your God with every heartbeat, with every breath, with every conscious act. Keep in mind the words I command you today. Teach them to your children. Talk about them at work, whether you are tired or you are rested. Let them guide the work of your hands. Keep them in the forefront of your vision. Do not leave them at the doorway of your house or outside your gate. They are reminders to do all of my mitzvot, so that you can be holy for God. I am Adonai, your God. I led you out of Egypt to become your God. I am Adonai, your God. We're going to continue now with the Michamocha, which can be found on page 158.
Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Mi kamo habayli vadonai. Mi kamo kane tabakonesh. Norati lo hosefele. Norati lot hosefele. Maluchut karo manecha. Buki ayom ifni Moshe. Seiri anu ve'ameru. Seiri anu ve'ameru. Adonai Elon Eolam Vaed. Adonai Elon Eolam Vaed. Try with me. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la la la. Ya la la la.
Baruch atah Adonai Gaal Yisrael. Blessed are you, God, who is with us to redeem us in times of trouble. I invite you to rise at this point on page 164, and we're going to recite the beginning of our tefillah, or amidah, out loud through page 170.
Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi agiteilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibur v'Hanora, Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot Ve'imot, U'mevii Gibura Lifnei V'nehem, Le'ma'an Shemo, Ve'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshiach Magen. Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham v'Ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai mechayeh hakol. Atah Rab nehushia, Mashiv haruach u'morit hakashem. Mechakel chayim b'chesed, mechayeh hakol berachamim rabim. Somech noflim v'rofei cholim, u'matir asurim, u'mekayim emunato, l'sherei afon, v'kamocha ba'gevurot, u'midomer Tadcha Chayot Hakol. Baruch Atah Adonai Mechayei Hakol.
We'll continue with.
Atah.
Oh, sorry. Keep
Oh,
going.
that's like Atah. I had to take a.
we skipped a page. You keep going. Page 170. Sorry about that, Kim.
Oh, that's Atah Kadosh V'Shem Kadosh Kadoshim B'Kol Yom Yahalu Chasela. Baruch Atah Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh.
We continue now with our own private prayers through page 180. You may be seated whenever you're ready. We'll continue together on page 180 with Oseh Shalom.
Oseh Shalom B'Romah. Oseh Shalom. Try with me. B'Romah. Hu yaseh shalom. Hu yaseh shalom. Hu yaseh shalom. Aleinu. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down.
We're going to turn to our prayers of healing, page 371. And there's many in our community that we're thinking about. Particularly, we send prayers out to Mindy Weinman, and we know how strong she is, and we hope she continues to fight and can join us back here very soon. Also to a dear friend of mine, Dr. Stan Bratton, over the Network of Religious Communities. He had a procedure this week and is doing well, and I expect to be back home pretty soon. We are thinking about, on our communal list, Gail Ackerholt, Ebony Burse, Noah Camacho, Karen Cooper, Arthur Dezelke, Faggy Fox, Sue Frank, Charles Garfinkel, Michael Getting, Irene Green, Reed Hefner, Nancy Hersbrunn, Paula Jones, Mark Nightinger, Barbara Lamb, Gwen Lowinger, Larry Max, Jean McGarry, Helene Mesh, Ryan McGowan, Jennifer Milich, Carrie Moscato, Mary Rumez, Charlene Ripsick, Don Sherman, Mike Seapel, Rosemary Varner, Fred Vinette, Mag Wagner, Annette Wiesel, Jeffrey Winnick, Mark Yablin, Elizabeth Giza Yeager, Christine Zelowiski, and Hannah Ezra Ben Shuel. And if you have other names, just feel free to just raise your hand. And we'll collect all those names into our heart. The prayer, the Mishaberach, is on page 371. Complete healing of body and soul. We send so many prayers, and we hope that our prayers have an effect not just on the people that we're sending them out to, but on ourselves as well, to give us strength. So often when people are sick, we so much want to help and heal them, and of course, we're not God, so we can't do that, but we can send out our prayers, and that little bit hopefully gives strength to be able to continue to persevere. I'd like to talk to you tonight about one of the most amazing, most ambitious projects that I have ever come across. It's the kind of project which is transformative when it comes to our Torah that is sitting over there. And it's also the type of project that seems simple. They say that when an idea is natural, we just say, of course, as if it was there all along. This is the sort of thing that we imagine must have been thought about sometime before, but really hasn't. And it has to do with sheets that I handed out. But let me tell you a little bit about what you're going to be looking at. What you're going to see is the work of an American-born Israeli artist named Yael Kanarek. And Yael Kanarek is a remarkable artist who maybe about a decade ago was very immersed in a Kabbalah class, a class on Jewish mysticism. And for her, it was very esoteric and difficult to enter into. When you study the Kabbalah, if you've ever had a chance, it can feel like that, like many Jewish texts. But there was something more than just the text itself and the Hebrew that she was well familiar, or the Aramaic that the text is also written in. There was something else that was blocking her. And it was the way that the text was written, but not only that, it was the class itself. The class that she was taking was taught by a man to a almost completely male audience. And she realized that even that there was a challenge because she couldn't enter into the text. And the same thing was happening in many Jewish texts, including our Torah. And she turned around, and in her artistic voice, she suddenly recreated the first few verses that we have of the Torah, which you actually have in front of you, part of her project. I gave you several sheets. This one says Breshit in it. And this, in a way, is the simplest part of it. It sounds the simplest because in this first few verses of Genesis, gender isn't the biggest role. This is before human beings are created. But there is a central challenge even here. So she wrote, and in the Hebrew, you can see some differences right away. Breshit bara, which is slightly different, Elohim. In those first three words, you suddenly have a major change. The normal words, Breshit, bara, Elohim. Now, it might not seem like a lot. You see it translated below. In the beginning, Elohim created. And you say, well, it sounds like the text that I'm used to, right? Elohim is the name of God. That's what Jonah, when you led the candle lighting, we use Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu. The same words over there. So it doesn't seem that different. But there is a major difference. Do you notice at the very end of the word that there is something different? What is different there at the end? Harvey, what is different at the end?
Words are all for feminine instead of masculine, and the noun of God, Elohim, is changed to Elohim, and then changes to Nun.
Right. Okay. So since not all of you can hear in the microphone, what Harvey said is that all the verbs are now written in the feminine. And Hebrew, like many languages, classical languages, have a feminine form and a masculine form. And normally, when you're describing God, it is in the masculine. Suddenly, she's added. It doesn't sound that. Even I was trying to sound out this bara, which is, it almost sounds the same in terms of creation. But Elohim, slight difference. Instead of a mem, you have a nun. And right from the get-go, you have a transformative text. What she decided to do, which I told you is just mind-blowing. Like, wow, how did no one think of this before? Was to feminize the entire Torah. Take every time there's a male, put in a female voice. Every time there's a female, put in a male voice. A complete reversal of everything that everything that we're used to. And I just want to read some quotes by her before we actually look at a couple of other texts where you can really feel it. So she describes, this moment for her. She's been interviewed quite a bit. This project is only a few years old, really. I got stuck in the text because it was clear that he is a man teaching to a man in this Kabbalah class. What do I work with as a woman, she meant. We don't have anything that describes our relationship with the divine in our image at all. What a powerful statement there. What if it was reversed? How do I make it mine? How do I bring my spiritual body into it? And she continued. It invites this new Torah, which she called Torah Ta. Instead of Torah, a feminine Torah, Torah Ta, Torah, which means teaching. So Torah Ta, given that belongs to her, a Torah that belongs to her. Invites those who identify as women to read themselves into the story. Those who identify as men to be able to read places that might have previously seemed to exclude them, like being a midwife. It destabilizes fixities and gender constructions. And by not changing the basic narrative, it provides distance without distortion. So changes how we understand the text, but doesn't elide over the difficult pieces of Torah that still have to be dealt with. What she means is that just by changing the gender doesn't clean up the whole Torah. It's still a difficult text, difficult for our modern ears, I should say, because it's written thousands of years ago. So let's look at what I'm talking about. And I also gave you a text from Lech Lecha, because that is something that we would see in a couple of weeks. Actually, we know from Debbie Friedman, she feminized Lech Lecha to Lechi Lach. A lot of you are familiar with that. But look at the very big difference. We'll just look at the English. If in the page it says Lechi Lach. And Tehovah, so this is, instead of all the normal names, she changed all the names. And Tehovah said to Amrama, leave your country. So this is the name of God talking. So instead of Abraham, the father, the masculine, you have the aim, Amrama. Leave your country, your birthplace, your mother's house. See how different it is? Instead of your father's house. To the land I will show you, and I will make you a great nation, and I will bless you and make your name great, and you will be a blessing. And you will bless those who bless you, and I will curse those that curse you. And through you, all the families on the earth will be blessed. And Emramra went as Tehovah, so instead of Jehovah, it's the feminine version, who had spoken to her, and Lotah went with her. So instead of Sarah, you have Lotah. Look at the difference. Now I'm going to show you really, when you see it in the Shema, that's the other text I gave you. This one, wow, what a difference. And she actually had a composer, if you go to her website, which is My Tehoratai, I think it is, and it's listed up there. You can all look at it, beittorata.org, and she has a way of registering there, and then you can get on. She has a whole library there. So instead of the normal, since I picked this because it's familiar, so you'll know how different it is. Shim'i, Tisraelah, Tadonai, Eloteinu, Tadonai, Echat. Here, what a difference in Hebrew, in English. Here, Tisraelah, Tehovah is our goddesses. Tehovah is one. And I just want you really to percolate what this means, because it seems like a simple concept, but just to be able to transform, not just for one song like Lechi Lach, like Debbie Friedman do, but for the whole Torah. And the amazing thing is it's coming right away. October 3rd. What, is that today? Is that tomorrow, right? No. Let's see, it's October 1st today. So Sunday, she is releasing the entire book of Genesis. We can only imagine how much work. And she's an artist, so she does it in the Hebrew and the English and also in the Torah. At the end of this whole journey, I do believe there will be an actual female-centered Torah. How incredible if every synagogue had something like that we could open up. Can you imagine a bat mitzvah or a bar mitzvah opening up to those pages, or on high holidays? How different it would be. So thank you for indulging me and for allowing me to see this. I hope you're as excited as I am about it. If you're not, if you are, go and look into it. And we'll all be waiting for this Sunday when she releases. Sunday, remember, in Israel is a work day, so that's why she can release it then. And what a wonderful way to think about it, the document that we're so used to, that we are just starting this week. So we're going to hear a little in musical refrain about Genesis. It's not in your prayer book, but many of you, this was in our Ma'amad Sinai book. Many of you are familiar.
I didn't know that.
I think so. I think that's the one. They have so many nice melodies there. So Cantor can tell you more.
God saw all that God created, and it was very good. There was evening, there was morning, and it was very good. Hine tov me'od. So this is in parts, and I would love it if you guys, while we're doing this round, that if you could sing one part, and I'll sing it for you, and then you'll try doing it. So just listen once. Let's get in the right key. No. There was evening, there was morning. Try that with me. There was evening, there was morning. Let's try one more time. There was evening, there was morning. So when we get to that part, I'm going to start you off, and you're just going to continue doing that, and I'm going to go to the next two rounds. All right, the next two levels of rounds. All right, you ready? Hand if you're good. Hand if you want to go over it again. Okay, here we go. There was evening, there was morning. All right, so I'm going to start off with something else. I'll do it, you join with me, and then you keep doing it, and then I'm going to go into the other parts of Genesis. Here we go. And you know Tov Ma'od is very good, right? Vaya Elohim et kol asher asa vehine tov me'od. Vaya Elohim et kol asher asa vehine tov me'od. Here we go. There was evening, there was morning, there was evening, there was morning. Keep going. There was evening, there was morning, there was evening, there was morning. Keep it up. Va'erev, va'yivoker, tov me'od. Va'erev, va'yivoker,
There
tov
was
me'od. Here we go.
morning, there was evening, there was morning, there was evening, there was morning.
Va'erev, va'yivoker, Yom Tov Me'od. Vaya Elohim et kol asher asa vehine tov me'od. Vaya Elohim et kol asher asa vehine tov me'od. Good job, everybody.
Yeah, when you're in school and you get a grade, it says Tov Ma'od. That's an A+. So you did very, very well. That's what Cantor just said. We're going to continue now. We're moving to the end of our service. Oh, let me just find our outline. Are we at Aleinu now?
Yeah.
Cantor, okay, so we're going to rise for Aleinu, page 586.
עלינו לשבח לדעת הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
Page 591.
ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ויום ההוא ויאמרו יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו
You may be seated, and on that day, all will be one, and God's name will be one. We're going to turn to our mourner's cottage on page 598. And before we turn to it, I have a couple of announcements. First of all, I know Gail has her sister-in-law, Norma, in town. Her great-nephew, her Norma's grandson, Alec, passed away tragically at just 29 years old. We're very grateful that Norma's with us to really, I hope it's consolation here. We also have an important yard site, and I have a poem to read for that, and this is in honor of Brian David Bernard, who passed October 4th, 2000. No, that's the date today. So he passed how long ago? 2009. And this is a poem that Sheila sent me in honor, and we have his name in lights in the back over there, and then we'll read the rest of our names. Remember when a day apart near broke our hearts in two. Remember when you left for 3 months, I thought I had left too. Remember all the hospital stays, our decorated rooms, Reese's candies every night. Remember the 10 o'clock pizza deliveries, remember eating without light. Remember the 10:30 let's go out telephone calls. I'd pretend I was really awake. You'd be calling from my driveway. Our time for our pancakes, coffee, and cake. Remember my teaching you to drive. I would close my eyes praying we'd remain alive. My bitten lips were numb. I would never let you see how your New Yorker driving style just scared the life of me. But we got through it all, laughing with each other. I loved you so much, my son, my best friend, still proud to be your mother. I miss your beautiful dark brown eyes, black hair that framed your face, the way you gave of yourself effortlessly and left us without trace. Your life had so much meaning, shared smiles with everyone. I was so blessed to be your mother. You will always be my beautiful son. Remember I carried you for 8 long months, but I loved you from the start. 12 years since I held you close in my arms, now I carry you in my heart. In loving memory to my beautiful son, Brian David Bernard. Thank you, Sheila. And I hope it's consolation to be here and to be able to celebrate his life in that way. We are also remembering Robert Caton, who is the brother of Richard Caton over here. Doris Sirota, our member who passed this week and was buried this week, and her wonderful family, her husband Harvey, what a wonderful relationship they had. We're also remembering Myron Carroll, who is the uncle of Amy O'Donnell. On our yard site list, I already mentioned Alec Cohen. On our yard site list from years past, we remember Joshua Anbar, Esther Bates, Brian Bernard, Moisey Bronstein, Sarah Cohen, Bernie Davis, Ralph Epstein, Rana Gallman, Philip Glickman, Dora Heskins, Mark G. Hirschhorn, Gittel Hutner, William Kellman, Irving Korn, Eva Lashaw, William Mahaney, Albert Markel, Herman Nadal, Harriet Ritzer, Louis Russlander, Minnie Baker Silverman, Mark Suchman, Samuel Sunshine, Ruth Taxon, Leonard Teplitsky, Louis Tobkin, Sylvia Weinstein, and Joan Zinderman. If you have other names, just raise them if you'd like to. And we'll turn now to the mourner's cottage, page 598, all whose custom it is to rise. Yitkadal, Yitkadash, Shemei Rabbah, V'yalma, Tivrach, Irte, V'yamlik Malchute, V'chayachon, V'yamachon, V'chayed, Echol Beit Yisrael, V'galav, V'zman, Kariv, V'yamru, Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah, Mevarach, Le'olam, Olmei Amaya. Yitbarak, V'yishtabak, V'yitpa'ar, V'yitramam, V'yitnaseh, V'yitadar, V'yitaleh, V'yitalal, Shemei Dekudashah, B'rechu. Le'elam, Yinkol, B'echata V'shirata, Tush B'echata V'nechamata, Damiran, B'yalma, V'yimaru, Amen. Yehi Shlom Rabbah Min Shemaya, V'chayim Aleinu V'yal Kol Yisrael V'yimaru, Amen. Oseh Shalom V'yimaramav, Hu Yaseh Shalom, Aleinu V'yal Kol Yisrael V'yal Kol Yoshvei Tevel V'yimaru, Amen. May the one who creates harmony and high bring peace to us, to all Israel, and to all the world. And we say, Amen. You may be seated. Zikronam livracha. May their memories always be for a blessing. I'd like to invite up Bruce Chorus again to offer our announcements.
Shabbat Shalom again, everyone. Remember these two numbers, 13 and 14. They will play big roles in the announcements. Thank you to Rabbi Alex Cantor-Frank, Paul Staley, for a beautiful service tonight in honor of Shabbat. Thank you to Mark Nightinger and Sue Frank for being our ushers this evening. Tomorrow morning, we have a bar mitzvah here. Mazel tov to Jonah Place and his family. That's tomorrow morning. So our sanctuary is always a special place. Tomorrow we have a special place within the special place. And it's going to be a wonderful morning. So we wish you all the best on that. Also tomorrow morning, out in the parking lot, is the 14th annual Walk Off Hunger. I came this evening from the kickoff event. Check out this year's t-shirt. Ooh, we're purple this year. Anyway, so that will be tomorrow morning. If you have not signed up yet, you still can. Just show up tomorrow morning and you can register in person with cash or check. If you'd like to make a donation, you still can. Very special guest at the walk tomorrow morning. Leading us out of the parking lot will be the all-time leading pledge producer for Walk Off Hunger, Jenny Pohl, at age 101 and a half, will be leading us out of the parking lot tomorrow morning. So you've seen in the email, there's a Shir Shalom page that you can donate to. There's also a page for Jenny that you can donate to as well. That's tomorrow morning. Sunday morning, we have our flu shot clinic from 10 a.m. to noon. That's sponsored by Rite Aid. They will also have the pneumonia vaccine, the shingles vaccine, and tetanus for those of us that cut ourselves a lot or stumble or things like that. We need tetanus shots on a regular basis. If you're klutzy, get your tetanus shot. They'll also be doing regular and senior doses of the flu vaccine. You need to bring your insurance card and picture ID. Please RSVP to Joanne so we have a head count for that. Tuesday, Walter knows, Paul knows, we have Shavettas, 4 to 7. Have you ordered? Okay, just making sure. That's from 4 to 7 or until sold out. Our Shavettas are so important, as you know. We've been without bingo for a year and a half, and it certainly doesn't seem to be coming back, and Shavettas has filled the void very, very nicely. Wednesday, the women of Shir Shalom will be meeting Wednesday night via Zoom at 7 o'clock. This says join in the fun. Julia, are these meetings that much fun? It says, the announcements say join in the fun. They're very fun. Okay, so join in the fun for the Women of Shir Shalom meeting, planning upcoming events like, this is really big, the rummage sale is returning on Sunday, October 24th. That's like 3 weeks away. The rummage sale is back. If you have stuff you'd like to donate, which is always needed, talk to Julia after the service tonight. Now on Friday, next Friday, Erev Shabbat, right back here in the sanctuary at 7 o'clock p.m. The following Friday, we are excited to share that we will have guest musicians on Friday. Well, that's not the following Friday, is it? That's 2 weeks later. Anyway, 2 weeks from tonight, yeah. October 15th at our Erev Shabbat service, 7 o'clock p.m. Resonate will be infusing Middle Eastern and cantorial music into American rock, folk, blues, and jazz sounds. And there's more to it than that. I can't even do it justice explaining everything that they do. But chat with the cantor after services tonight and find out more. But that is on October 15th. A special thank you to our synagogue president, Todd Sugarman, who was out there by himself taking down our sukkah. By himself. He pulled it down. He did it by himself. So thank you to Todd. Because, of course, the men's group would have done it, but the men's group is a bunch of klutzes, so we were better off having Todd do it. We would like to thank everyone, of course, who RSVP'd for the service tonight. This is really important for us. We have to know a head count so we can plan, make sure that we have enough chairs set up. We want to make sure we have enough onig to go. So please do that. And of course, as I mentioned earlier, we're going to continue to evaluate everything as it happens, and if we have to make more adjustments, we will. As we have said from the beginning, and we're well into year 2 of this, your safety will always come first. If you need anything, please feel free to reach out to Rabbi Alex, Cantor Frank, Joanne, Todd, or myself. We are here for you. Shabbat Shalom. Please help yourself on the way out to the Oneg to Go, which is sponsored by the Place family in honor of Jonah's bar mitzvah tomorrow. Did you bake? You didn't bake. Okay. All right. You didn't have to. It's okay. But that's at the back table, so please pick one up on your way out. Thank you for doing that. Jonah, good luck tomorrow morning. You're going to do great. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
So Rabbi Sobel at Besayin taught me a new term for this oneg to go. She called it a goneg. I thought it was kind of catchy. We do have our normal Torah study, and I do believe the Shabbat morning service is meeting privately on their Zoom as well. We are going to be concluding with Adon Olam, a French version, 6:25.
Yes, it's going to be different from tomorrow mornings. If you're coming tomorrow morning, this is a different one. This is French Sephardic, and I know you're going to recognize it. Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem Kol Yitzir Nivra, V'et Nasa, B'chefetzo Kol, Hasai Melech, Shemo Nikra, Hasai Melech, Shemo Nikra, V'yacharei Yiglot HaKol, Levado, Elok Nora, V'hu Haya, V'hu Haveh, V'hu Yiyeh, B'tifara, V'hu Yiyeh, B'tifara, V'hu Echad, V'ein Sheni, Echad Shilo, V'hachbira, V'li Reishi, V'li Tachlit, V'lo Havos, V'hamisra, V'lo Havos, V'hamisra, V'hu Eli, V'chai Koli, V'tzor Chavli, V'etzara, V'hu Nisi, V'manosli, V'nat Kosi, V'yom Mekra, V'nat Kosi, V'yom Mekra, V'yado, Afi Ruhi, V'yetishan, V'yayira, V'yivruhi, V'yati, Adonai li, Elohira, Adonai li, Elohira.
We're going to invite Jonah and his family up once more to reveal our challah underneath there. And I told them they can take the challah home too as well. So just be very careful on the way over. It's treacherous. It's like going through the wilderness there. So Jonah, whenever you're ready, if you want to unveil our challah, the challah is covered because it gets embarrassed because it's usually first. It's like the oldest child that wants to be first, so they just cover it so it doesn't get embarrassed. That's true. That's the midrash. But it says, okay, so Jonah, whenever you're ready.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lachem min haaretz.
Amen. As you came in peace, may you leave in peace. Please return your prayer books minus the leaflet to the front and take your goneg. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.